When you search orbital piercing, you see a conch piercing come up constantly with a ring going through it. That's pretty awesome, but that's not an orbital piercing. An orbital piercing's much cooler. When you have two separate piercings that are parallel with each other, connected by a ring or a circular barbell, that is an orbital piercing. Think of it like an industrial piercing, but with a ring, not a barbell. An orbital piercing can be done in many spots on the ear. It can be done through helixes. I've done them through a tragus before that is large enough. I've done them in conches. That can be done in earlobes. You can even combine certain piercings to create other orbitals. Placement is very, very essential to where you're going perpendicular to the tissue to create the least amount of tissue pierced as possible. The placement needs to be absolutely perfect so it's not pulling tissue together or pushing it apart. If they are doing either of those things, it won't heal properly. It's very important to find a very experienced and skilled piercer. I'm not gonna lie, this sucks. Let's take a look at the pain-o-meter. I told you, it's up there. The reason this one kind of is more painful than most of the others is you have the two piercings right next to each other. And once it's in there, you're constantly working with both at the same time. You already have one sore area and you're working on the next one. Plus, you have very limited room where the piercer can work or hold on to the jewelry. So, it's not the worst piercing I've ever had, but it wasn't the easiest. This one does take a while to heal. I've seen maybe 6 months would be the absolute fastest for the healing process, but expect a year. Healing process is rough because there's a lot of swelling on that area. There's not a lot of room for that extra swelling. Plus it can't move around very much. So it's tough to sleep on. You're gonna get bumps most likely, and you have to be a very adamant enthusiast of piercings to heal this one up good. It's gonna take a while. The key to this one, if you want to keep the orbital, is to keep the ring in the whole time. You can start with a captive bead ring, a circular barbell. I wouldn't suggest starting off with a seam ring or any sort of clicker because the gap or that little seam will get in the inside of your piercing, and a lot of times it closes up on there. Now keep note, if you got pierced with a 16 gauge, 7/16, or a 1/2 inch ring or a 14 gauge, write it down because you can interchange between a captive bead ring and a circular barbell, but you can't go bigger or smaller. It has to remain that exact same size. As far as common problems, there are a lot of them. It can't move. It doesn't give room for any extra swelling. The most common problem people have with this is patience, and they give up too soon. It's going to take a long time. Give it patience, stick to your aftercare regimen, and hopefully it gets better. If there are problems and the bumps seem to be getting too big, go see your piercer and see what you can do to alleviate some of the swelling or the irritation. Now, this piercing is extremely rare. A lot of you might have never even seen one in person, just seen some pictures on the internet. So, if you have the patience to heal this, it's a beautiful piercing. You don't see a lot of them, and sometimes having that rare piercing is a special thing. I love this piercing so much because it is so rare. A lot of times you get to be really creative with these, and these are people who have been pierced many times before. So, like I said, it's not a beginner piercing, but if you're looking for something really unique, this might be right up your alley. Now, if you've ever had an orbital, tell me about it in the comments below. Did it heal? How long did it take? And if you enjoyed the video, give me a like, subscribe, and of course, ring that bell notification. We'll see you on the next video.